Okay, in last class we were discussing about yeah, yeah, correct. We discussed about the perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga. One who has attained perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, how does he behave? And we saw the example of how his mind is so controlled. It is compared to a wind kept in a windless, a lamp kept in a windless place. It doesn't waver. Similarly, the mind of an Ashtanga yogi in a perfectional stage is completely focused and is not disturbed by anything. And therefore, we were also discussing about what is the wind compared to. Is it working? Yeah. If it's working, if what is the wind compared to? Last time we were discussing. Yes, very good. Desires. So sometimes the lamp is shaken because of the wind, and similarly, our focus is broken because of the wind of desires in our heart. So we discussed all that last time. That is 18th and 19th verse. Yatha deepo nivatasto ningate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. And then Krishna talks about the realizations in Ashtanga Yoga. He says how as we make progress in spiritual life, we understand nothing more is to be known. Hmm? If there's a verse which says Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushte, once you know him, Yasmin, or you can say by knowing whom, there's nothing else to be known, or by knowing which, there's nothing else to be known. So, what is the subject matter? We discussed the small humorous story where one of the friends had an eye pain. He was going in the train and he went from bogie to bogie. There was no doctor, and the final bogie was filled with doctors. Remember the story?
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, what happened?
He met the eye doctor, but unfortunately, it was left
He was
eye.
left eye specialist. So similarly, in this world, you can keep doing PhD and further research and postdoctorate, but you never reach the end point of knowledge. Hmm? Whereas Vedanta means end of knowledge. And Krishna says, Vedaishta sarve aham eva vedyo. Finally, the goal of all knowledge is to understand me. So therefore, Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushte means when such a that person is known, uh, when he's satisfied, the whole world is satisfied. What's the other words? When he is known, there's nothing else to be known. Uh, there's one more verse in Upanishad which says that once you know that person, you don't have to know anything else. So therefore, Krishna is called as the end point of knowledge. So as Lord Kelvin says, he says that religion begins with God and science ends with God. That's the difference. Okay. So we saw that last time, and yeah. So a person who has attained perfection or samadhi and Ashtanga yoga, he's situated in full determination, never shaken even amidst the greatest difficulty. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha. That we discussed. And today we will see how to attain that perfectional stage. That means now the methods how to attain perfection stage is given. So in a gist, Krishna in 6th chapter has till now, what has he spoken? He has said that Ashtanga Yoga system, there are two stages. One is the preliminary stage and then the advanced stage. He gave characteristics of preliminary stage, characteristics of advanced stage, and now he is giving method how to go from preliminary stage to advanced stage. Okay, and so now Prabhu will continue. I just had to do that.
Soon? Okay, I can do that.
You can remove the volume. Disconnect.
Okay, done.
Haribo. Start from
Words, like display the words.
yeah, thanks.
So, so sixth chapter, verse number 24 onwards, right?
Yes.
सनिश्चय युक्तव्यो
निश्चयेन योक्तव्यो
योग अनिर्वना चेतसा
योगो निर्विण्ण चेतसा
संकल्प प्रभवान् कामान्
संकल्प प्रभवान् कामान्
त्यक्ता सर्वान् अचेतसा
त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः
मनश्शेष मनश्शेषिन्द् मनश्शेन्द्रियग्रामं
मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामम्
विनियायं समन्तता.
विनियम्य
Hare Krishna,
समन्ततः
Prabhuji, you are muted.
Oh, okay. I'm muted. 1 second. Thank you. Okay. Hare Krishna. We read the translation.
Hmm?
Okay, not you. I was asking someone else. Someone reads the translation. Someone.
One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not to be deviated from the path. One should abandon, without exception, all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind.
Yeah. Purport.
Purport. The yoga practitioner should be determined and should patiently prosecute the practice without deviation. One should be sure of success at the end and pursue this course with great perseverance, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of success. Success is sure for the rigid practitioners. Regarding Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami says,
उत्साह निश्चय
धैर्या तत्ककाम परिवर्तता संग त्याग सतो वृत्ताय सभ्येर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति. One can execute the process of bhakti yoga successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination by following the prescribed duty in the association of devotees and by engaging completely in activities of goodness. Updesha Mitra. Updesha Mitra. Mitra.
मित्र नहीं
Mitra. Mrita. As for
Amrita.
Mrita. As for determination, one should follow the example of sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. A sparrow laid her eggs on the shore of the ocean, but the big ocean carried away the eggs on its waves. The sparrow became very upset and asked the ocean to return her eggs. The ocean did not even consider her appeal, so the sparrow decided to dry up the ocean. She began to pick out water in her small beak, and everyone laughed at her for her impossible determination. The news of her activity spread at last. Garuda, the gigantic bird carrier of Lord Vishnu, heard it. He became compassionate towards his small sister bird, and so he came to see the sparrow. Garuda was very pleased by the determination of the small sparrow, and he promised to help. Thus, Garuda at once asked the ocean to return her eggs, lest he himself take up the work for the sparrow. The ocean was frightened at this and returned the eggs. Thus, the sparrow became happy by the grace of Garuda. Similarly, the practice of yoga, especially bhakti yoga in Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job. But if anyone follows the principles with great determination, Lord will surely help, for God helps those who help themselves.
It's a very beautiful line in this purport. The last line is very, very beautiful. God help those who help themselves. You know, and this verse basically speaks about one important aspect, that is two important aspects we can tell from this verse is about determination and about controlling the senses and mind. If you see, one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should, and one is about determination, how much one should be determined to control his mind and senses. You know, the mind and senses of every person are going in all different directions. You know, according to the inputs what we have stored in the mind, according to the inputs what we have given to the mind goes accordingly. You know, small boy is always thinking of what? toys and sweets. You know, these are the two things what the small boy is thinking always. And once you let grow little bit younger, then what you think of is about playing outside or playing with your friends. So what inputs at different stages of life we get, we get that, our mind wants that only. Like now our mind not might be thinking of playing with the toys, but our mind will be thinking of something else according to the inputs what we are giving it. So it's very important what type of inputs we give to the mind. Accordingly the mind acts. So controlling the mind means, exactly we should understand what inputs are we giving to the mind. If you're not giving the right inputs to the mind, then we are sure that the mind will give wrong outputs at the time when we want to practice something. And for a spiritualist it's very important to give the right input to the mind. Very very important. And the purport goes very beautifully actually about Prabhupada writes that a success is sure for a rigid practitioner. Success is sure for a rigid practitioner. One who wants to be successful in any field needs to do something quite regulated. Even in outside world also, if you want to be successful, you have to do any occupation, you have to do it regularly. You have to be regulated. Without being regulated, life just cannot be successful. It's not possible. And what to speak of spiritual life? Spiritual life means we have to be regulated. We haven't seen any person becoming successful just within a day or so. Did Virat Kohli became Virat Kohli within a day? Never. Right. He practiced for a long time. In fact, whenever a lot of youth takes inspiration from him. Why? Because of his consistent performance, right? Anyone who is consistently performing, they produce good results. And we have seen that thing. Narendra Modi, if you see example, why he is so successful now as the Prime Minister of India? Because he's consistently putting his energy in doing the right things. So if we want to be successful, we have to do the right things in a regulated way. If you don't do it in a regulated way, then it's impossible to become successful. It's not possible at all. And what to speak of spiritual life? If you are not if you're not practicing spiritual life on a regulated way, in on daily basis, then it's not possible that we can achieve the results out of this. The regulation is the key actually. Every person goes in different modes. Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. A person in mode of goodness means he's always regulated. His activities can be predicted. We had a great acharya. His name was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was like a great judge in the court, and he was so regulated that just to save, if people saw him at 8 a.m. at standing at the station, if he's standing at the station, that means it's 8 a.m. People knew that it was 8 a.m. So he was so regulated in his timings. In fact, he has a schedule. Whatever schedule he had in his life, he maintained it for a long time, and he was very very strong in his practice of law. In fact, he was making decisions which other judges used to take a lot of time to do that thing. To take, in a day he could solve around 30 to 50 cases. It was around 1980s, not 1980s. This was in 1800s when the British Empire was there here, and British had appointed him as the judge. In fact, for making him to work little more extra, they made the railway path just from his house. The railway used to stop at his home to pick him up and to save his time so that he can solve more cases. That was Bhaktivinoda Thakur because of his regulation. And he was quite spiritually minded also, and he was writing so much. His life was so regulated. Every day getting up at 2 o'clock in the night, writing books, chanting the holy name of the Lord, and then taking some breakfast, and then going out and doing his occupational duty as a law, and then again come back, and exactly at the time he used to take a nap, and then do his take his lunch, and then do his other activities, whatever was regulated. So he was so regulated. We have seen this thing. Regulation is one of the key factor for becoming successful. It's very very important. Without regulation, this is not at all possible actually, that any person can become successful in any practice. And we want to practice spiritual life, we want to practice the process of Krishna consciousness, we want to develop consciousness about Krishna and how much regulated one should be. A devotee means he is more regulated than outside people. That should be his life actually. For doing anything, he should be regulated, not waste time here and there doing unnecessary things. Nowadays the most important thing is in our pockets, right? This takes so much of our time, I can tell you. I myself, like I'm telling, we become sometimes victim by getting used to using this smartphone for a long time. It's like, you just waste a lot of your time and you lose your regularity. you know so it's very important. And the slok quoted by Rupa Goswami determines exactly how one should do his spiritual practices. Utsaha nishya dhairya tat tat karma pravartana sangatyago sato vritti shadbir bhakti prasiddhati. One can execute the process of bhakti yoga successfully with full hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, determination. That determination is also a great important factor for doing anything. One is regulated life and other is determined to do the right things. Our mind always is been uh, the mind goes up and down like a sinusoidal wave. It always goes up and down. But then, we can show how strong our mind is by making it determined to do the right things. And how does the determination comes for doing the right things? First thing is, one should be able to understand what is the right thing he's doing. Another thing is, he should develop that determination to do the right things. For that, he should have the association of the right minded people actually around him. Then only it's possible to develop this determination, or else it's not possible that one can have strong determination at all. So if one has to develop this determination, he has to very enthusiastically act every day, consistently, and then be uh, and then he has to be very determined to do the right things actually. Determined to do the chanting. It's very it's not possible that anyone can just chant every day. But if you are not determined to do the right thing, if you're not taking the right inputs, then it's not possible that one can do it very easily. Okay, and there is this story of this sparrow. This bird, actually, this comes in the Shastras. It's a very beautiful story that a small sparrow was trying his level best to dry up the ocean since the ocean has taken his eggs. Small sparrow. No one will believe that the sparrow can dry up the ocean. But then the sparrow was quite determined and he started doing little by little, little by little. And just within few days, what had happened, the news has spread all over the world that this sparrow is trying to dry up the ocean. Everyone was mocking around it, and this went till Garuda. And as soon as it went till Garuda could understand that if I don't go and see what is happening around, then it will be wrong, because he's coming from my lineage. Like she's the sparrow is my bird actually. And the sparrow went and just spoke to the small bird, and seeing his determined nature, that he want the ocean, that if you don't return the eggs now, then I will dry up you. So when he spoke that thing, the ocean has to really hear that thing, because just by the waves of the wings of Garuda, he could dry up the ocean also. And immediately the ocean had to return the eggs. So it's like this determination plays a very important role, in the in a sadhaka's life actually. And if one is not determined, then it's not possible for him to grow in his spiritual practices. Okay. So we generally think of doing hard work, not hard work. What is hard work? What is hard work?
things which we like to do.
Yes, things which we like to do, we want to do it more easily rather than doing hard labor, right? If someone likes to do something, he lovingly does that thing. So it's not like if it is like if it's taking lot of hard labor for him to do that thing, then he will not do it for a long time. He will never do it for a long time. But then if he likes to do that thing, that's why what happens is in the practice of spiritual life, if you don't like to chant the holy name of the Lord, if you don't like to read spiritual books, if you don't like to hear spiritual talks, then it's very difficult that we will be continuing this process for a long time. So this liking has to be developed in the heart of a person, and this can be developed only when we have like-minded, when we like doing this thing, when we associate with persons who like this thing to do. Like, if someone loves to study, and if you go and sit with him for some time, you get some interest to learn something. Like, my parents used to generally tell, my friend was like he's a topper, and I was like around, getting always 8th to ninth rank or something like that in the class. And my mother used to always tell me, you should make friends with the topper, you should always be with him around and everything like that. But he wasn't interested in playing cricket and other stuff like that, but he was more interested in just reading books after books. And he was like super genius. I still have him as my friend, and I see he's become very successful doing some research somewhere in a company. But I see that he was showing his interest. He had a lot of knowledge, actually gaining capacity. So he used to do that in his life. And my mother used to always tell, if you are around him, then you will also gain that, you will gain an interest to learn more, actually. So if you are there with the right minded people around, then it becomes very easy for us to focus. And scriptural regulation is productive, not restrictive. Actually, spiritual regulation means, a person who's trying to seek gold, will always find gold. If he's looking for gold, he will find the right person to purchase gold from, right? If he's not looking for gold, then what? He can be cheated by any person. He can be cheated by any person. It's not like possible for him to get gold outside. Like Prabhupada used to always tell, for purchasing a diamond, you need to know what diamond looks like. If you go outside and try to ask some people around, where, what diamond look like, then people will definitely cheat you. So one thing is about knowing the diamond, another thing is about, you should be able to identify the quality of the diamond. So it's very important. A gold seeker will always dig at the right place, or a person who is searching for the diamond will always seek at the right place. Not that he will go here and there and purchase it. So spiritual life is something like, we have to dig it at the right place. And digging at the right place means trying to control the mind and the senses. It's not easy, but it's very important for us as a practitioner to control the mind and senses. Because mind and senses are like, they can take us to a ride anytime and anytime. It's like very, very challenging. Whatever we like, any one senses, if it becomes very strong, it can take the person to that, to any extent. I remember, recently, yes, I was discussing this in one of the class also. Like, I remember, our friends used to, we were out at, when we were in college, we were out for a long time in the night, and then we wanted to come back to our home. And then one of the friend told, oh, there is a very nice thing what we get in this hotel. And then he told the hotel is just 10 minutes away. And then he told, and then we lost the way on the way. And then we had to ride almost like couple of hours, because we lost it. Like, he was just telling little ahead, and took us almost like 45 minutes of our drive there. And then finally we found that thing. And then we're not at all successful in getting what we wanted to eat actually that night. And we literally had to come back, empty handed, like, almost like that. And then, just sleep without having anything. So I was thinking, how it is very important that one sense we wanted to satisfy, that is tongue. Just for satisfying one tongue, we went so far. Now I realize it. Then and there, I wasn't realizing that, we were doing so much for the tongue. We could have come and had some nice dinner that time, in the house. But then we realized that we has wasted almost like 3 hours just for not finding the right food to eat. So a tongue can make us go like waste a lot of our time, in one way. One sense, eyes can make us go in different direction. So sense control is such an important aspect in one way about uh, about spiritual life actually. So if you don't have the right sense control, then it's very difficult. Okay, one more thing I wanted to bring up. Yeah, I had one brahmachari friend of mine in Pune, and when he read this purport, he was so very happy, and then he was like filled with joy, And when he read this for the first time, and he caught one sentence which was like so helpful uh, for his services. Whenever he used to do any services, he had this goal in his life, and the goal was this sentence was always ringing in his mind, and the line was that the Lord will surely help, for God help those who help themselves. If we don't help ourselves to do the right thing, God doesn't help. This example is given. There was a flood in a river, in a village actually, and the river flooded the complete entire village, and all the people around were trying to escape because of the flood which was taking place in the river, due to the river in the village, and every person was trying to get out of the house and trying to escape, and somehow many people escaped the house, and one person, he was quite determined. He had a lot of faith in the Lord, that Lord will come and protect me, and so he told, okay, I'll just stay and protect myself. Lord will come and then he will surely help me. So when the water came up to the level of first floor, almost like that, and still, like, he was not trying to go out from the village. Few people who were going out were calling him, why don't you come out? Actually, we are going in a boat, we will take you now. And this person was determined, no, no, God will help me, God will help me. And then he just allowed their the people around to go in the boat. And then after some time, the water level rise little more, and it was like almost the first floor was also sinking, and his house was only 2 floors. So his house was almost about to be sink. So he went to the terrace, and he was like, almost on the verge of, like, there was no other place where he could do anything now. And he was like, the people, the the people around, they were coming still in the boats and trying to rescue him. And God will help me, God will help me. He had like a lot of faith that God will help me. And then finally, when the entire village or the entire town got submerged, he was just on the words, on the last scope of flying. That time an helicopter had come, the Navy helicopter had come, and they send a ladder. You will climb this ladder and you will be saved. He told, no, God will come and help me. I'm having quite amount of faith that God will come and help me. And eventually what had happened, he passed away. He died because of his lot of faith in the God. And then when he went to the Lord, he asked the question, Lord, Lord, why didn't you help me? Why did you save me? And what did the Lord reply? The Lord replied, I was sending you help again and again, but you were not taking help. You're not helping yourself with the help I'm sending you. And it was like such a foolish thing for that person, that he was not determined to take help what the Lord was sending. Lord was sending help again and again. Like, first time there was boat which was ready to be taking him to the safe place. He wasn't coming couple of times. So God helped those who help themselves actually. And in one way, if you want to help ourselves, it's very important that if you want God to help us, then we should help ourselves actually. How do we do that? Any services we do, anything we do, if you're not helping ourselves to do the right things, then how will God help us to do the right things? Because God has given that individuality, and he has given us the independent choice to us. He has given us that choice to us for making the right choice. If we are not determined to utilize our choices, our independence, choice making ability to do the right thing, then will God help us? No. God, as the Lord, he's sitting in the as a Paramatma. He sends an indication if you're doing the wrong thing. How many of you feel like, when you do something wrong, there is from the heart you feel that guilt? Everyone does. I also do that. Where does it come from? Where does it come from? Huh? From the heart, yes. From the heart, you feel that guilt. What else? Where does it come from? Where do you feel? Yes.
Are you asking for location or like?
Not location. Do you find a location for that thing? No. No, it doesn't come from intelligence. What it comes from the Paramatma actually. Paramatma is sitting in the heart, and he sends that indication to us when we are doing something wrong. When we are doing something wrong, it's like always Lord is there as a Paramatma to always help us to understand. The moment we think of or we start indulging in doing something wrong, there's an indication which comes, and yeah, yes, yeah, you still want to do that. Is actually that is the lust actually, or that is the weakness of the heart which makes us do the wrong thing. The moment we are determined to do the wrong thing, then Lord, before doing that, Lord sends an indication. As a Paramatma, he sends an indication, and then immediately as soon as we take that indication, what happens is, we are like, we get, if we take that indication and stop doing that thing, then it's Lord, we understand that it's Lord who is indicating it. It's like the mind who is indicating us not to do the wrong thing. But then immediately if we don't take that thing, then we still do it, then it's our weakness of heart actually which shows that we succumb to that thing what we are doing. So if we want to help ourselves, then we should, if we want God to help us, then one should help oneself very nicely. And how do you help yourself? Helping yourself means to be in the right consciousness, to have that right consciousness for doing the right things, for controlling the mind, controlling the senses. We live a life which is a regulated life, not that our lives are irregulated. Not our lifestyle starts with night 2 o'clock, we end our day, and get up in the morning at 10 o'clock. Most of the times I have seen, I was also a student, I have gone through this lifestyle also, and it's very challenging, very challenging. Sometimes we are not determined to do the right things, and then we face a lot of problems after that. We face a lot of problems. So if you want to help ourselves, then we have to be surrounded with the right type of people. That is one important thing. Association does matter for our determination. A person who wants to do his exercise every day, go to gym every day, what he looks forward for, he wants to make friends with person who are going every day to gym, right? That association he looks for. One who wants to be successful in his business, what he looks forward for, he looks forward for that he's surrounded with successful businessmen. I was just seeing one of the videos, and in that a person was taking the interview, and that person, he was asking, he was a billionaire, and he was asking, what is your what is the best advice you give to the world around? And this person, he told, you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful person around you. You want to become a billionaire, surround yourself with persons who are earning a lot of money, and you will become a billionaire eventually. So it's all about whom you associate with. We want to become spiritually successful, then we are always trying to surround ourselves with spiritual minded people. If we are not ready to be surrounded with those type of people, then our determination will not be there. We may be little bit determined to do the right things, but we need that association. Sangha or that association gives great amount of strength actually. What we cannot do, we can take the strength from the others actually. And it's always possible, like sometimes I might be very strong in my determination at one time. Seeing me, others may take inspiration, but seeing others, sometimes I may be weak, but others might be strong during that time. And because of that thing, what happens is you take inspiration from that other person during that time. So it becomes like, that sangha, that association gives the great strength to do the right thing. And spiritual practices means we need that sangha, we need that association. Without association, it's not possible for us to grow in the spiritual practices very nicely. Okay. This was what I wanted to discuss. I was just walking up actually, and Arjuna Anpro just asked me, Why don't you come and speak? So these are my thoughts about this verse, what I was thinking to speak. But I wanted to, bring to your notice that tomorrow is a very auspicious day. Tomorrow is the most auspicious appearance of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So wanted to discuss, like, generally we go, our class goes till 8 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Huh? So next couple of 15 minutes, I wanted to discuss a few pastimes of. Okay, before that, do you have any questions regarding what we have discussed? Then I wanted to discuss something about Lord Nityanand Prabhu, who is a very wonderful personality, and if we hear about him, our hearts gets purified actually just by hearing his pastimes.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes.
I don't understand this. Like, we are saying that we should do something ourselves first, then only Lord will help us.
Yeah.
We should be determined in that active. But if we look at the example of Lord Prahlad, so when Hiranyakashipu was burning his son in fire,
Mm.
Prahlad was not doing anything except chanting the Lord name.
Yeah.
And he was not trying to get out of the fire or anything, but Lord still helped him. So, is it like saying that when you attain the spiritual attainment, spiritual level, then only you can just rely totally on Lord?
See-
Otherwise, you have to do some work first.
Generally, what happens is, the example you gave about Prahlad Maharaj is so strong that Prahlad Maharaj had so much faith in the protection of the Lord. So much faith that Lord was putting him in. Lord was testing him in every step, and he was passing the test with full confidence in the Lord, that Lord is going to protect us. Do we have that much confidence? One is, I'm just coming to that thing, that until the time we don't have complete faith in the Lord, we need to do the right things actually in one way to help ourselves actually. Life will not happen, right? We need to do the right things in our life to make that thing happen. So in that way, we have to we have to do we have to take the right sangha in one way, and then we do the right things we do the right things, then only it's possible. Like, we make our life regulated, we live life according to the scriptures, we give guidance of whatever activities we are doing, we take guidance from someone and do it properly, then it becomes very successful. For getting doing the right job also, we need proper amount of guidance, right? Nowadays, or else we can do any job, but you want to be successful, then what you need is, you need right amount of guidance. So you need to have someone who can help you actually in these aspect also.
So, is it right to say when you are spiritually enlightened enough,
Yes.
then only you can totally rely on and say that
Yes.
Lord will help us?
Yes, Lord will help us, but Lord helps every time
Everyone, but
actually.
we can't see it.
No, yeah, we cannot see it and we cannot perceive it, but Lord helps us with keeping the right people around
Right
us.
people around.
So if we keep the right people around us, then what happens is, we can help ourselves actually very nicely.
Okay.
That way it's very easy to help us. Oh, my Zoom. One second. This is super. Yeah, that's what. Yes, and yes. Yeah.
So, in light of not having desires in this human life, we still end up having desires just pop up every now and then.
Mm.
And when those desires don't come true, it's feeling of sadness or sorrow. So, how one living like life that we have, even when we get desires, how can we not? How do we practice while the desire is already generated?
Okay. So the the desire will always be generated. As a spiritual soul, what we have is, we have desires. We the desires cannot be ended. This is if we want to just cut down the desire, neti neti, not doing this, not doing that, not doing this, then it's not possible that we can kill all the desires. But here Srila Prabhupada always tells, what we do is, we transform our desires. We transform our desires to doing the spiritual activities. We make it spiritual desires. We don't change the desire. Like, I want to eat something very nice. What I do is, I just go out and not eat it. But what I do is I cook very nicely that item and then offer it to Krishna and then take that thing as prasad. Then that becomes like spiritualizing your desire of eating very nice food, good stuff. That is the thing, we want to spiritualize the desire. Any desire we have, we don't cut that desire, but we spiritualize that desire. We want to have anything nice in our life. What we do is we want Krishna to be there in the center of our life. We do activities around surrounded by Krishna, then that desire becomes spiritualized. Or else it's not possible that we can change the desire. It's not easily done. Desires cannot be changed very easily. But when you can spiritualize that desire, then it's very easy for those desires to be transformed to the from negative desires to the right desires. you know like some person has a strong motive or strong desire to travel all over the world. But what he can do is he can go to the places around, always helping people to come closer to the Lord by doing some service wherever he's going. He can do that thing, and then he can fulfill that desire also. So he can travel in a Sankirtan party, with devotees around, and go all over wherever he wants to go. Like, so that way he can spiritualize his desires. Any desire is there, we can try to spiritualize it. It's not tough actually. And we have not got many desires. What we generally have a desire is to enjoy very nicely in this material world. But we need to know how we should enjoy by making Krishna in the center. If we have that thing, then all our spiritual, whatever desires we have, we can make it spiritualized actually. It's very easy. We want to come and dance, instead of going outside and dancing, we come in front of Lord and dance. We want to sing very nicely, we come and sing here for the pleasure of the Lord. Then our, any skill we have, we want to make it very fine, and we want to use it for the Lord's service. Then that desire becomes very, very strong, very good desire. Then that desire is like transforming that desire from negative to spiritual desire.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Um, uh, how do we detach ourselves from the fear of unknown?
Sorry.
How do we detach ourselves from the fear of unknown?
Fear of unknown in the sense.
Unknown, like could be future. Sometimes we make some investment decisions. Do we want to invest in a house or not? Don't know how the market would be, or just you know not even that big of decisions. Like sometimes we fear, okay, I don't know how long I will live, and fears can drive our mind, like spiral it in. So,
A person becomes fearful. Why? Because he's attached to certain things, then he becomes fearful of losing those things. If I have a very nice vehicle which I have purchased right now, then I'm very fearful that some boy should not scratch it. Or if they're playing cricket also, like I remember this example Radhesham Prabhu gives very nicely. He tells that a young a new a person brought his vehicle actually, and this vehicle was like very new, and he just brought it and he kept it in his parking slot. And he saw few people where few boys were playing cricket, and this person lives on the first floor, and then these boys were playing cricket for a long time. After some times he hears that someone smashed the ball and the vehicle glass got broken, and this person gets such a great tension that it should not be his vehicle. And he comes running down and he sees that the glass is broken all over the places, and he never sees that that is his car or not his car. He immediately goes and starts scolding all the boys and everyone like that. Why? Because he feels that they have broken his glass. And immediately after some time he comes to the closer to his car and he realizes that the car is very identical, exactly identical like what the car he has taken recently. But he sees that that the glass is broken, but this is not the that that is not his car, that is some other person's car. Then all his anxiety is gone, is it not? All his anxiety is gone actually as soon as he sees that that is not his car, that is some other person. His car was next car which was so similar that he did not realize that was the car. So what happens is he becomes quite attached to the things. The moment we are attached to the things, then what happens is lot of fear. So that attachment has to be changed actually. And how do we change that attachment? You know, if you have a ball in your hand, and if I give you another ball, what you will do is you'll drop this ball in small ball and catch the bigger ball, right? So same way what we do is we want to hold to Krishna actually, then all these other attachments actually they go very easily. We are not so attached to the things what we are doing if we are getting attached to Krishna. So we increase our attachment to Krishna, then there is detachment which all automatically takes place. And when we are detached, then easily we become very fearless. There is this very beautiful song by a great Vaishnava Acharya. What is it? Bhajahu re mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charnara Vindare. He's singing this time, Bhajahu re mana Sri Nanda Nandana. If you are singing or if you are attached to the lotus feet of uh, the son of Nanda Nandana, then Abhaya Charnara Vindare. Then all the Abhaya, all the fear what is there in the heart goes away. Why it goes away? Because you are getting attached to the supreme personality of Godhead. You are getting attached to Krishna. Then there is no more fear actually. Fear doesn't exist in the heart of a devotee. That's why this example what he has given about Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was fearless. Small boy, but he was fearless. We can be having that fearless attitude? No, because we don't have so much attachment right now to Krishna. The moment we develop little attachment to Krishna, we become fearless to that extent. We can see, I have been living like a monk for almost 12 years now, and in my bank account there's hardly 500 rupees. I had an account which had 500 rupees when I ended my joined as a monk, and still the same account has the same amount of money. Living without a single penny for 12 years, is it possible? I have not earned a single penny for a long time. I have not gone outside and worked outside. Never. In past 12 years I have not worked outside. Before that I was working in a company. I was earning nicely and I gave up and I came here. But what made me do this thing? I had little faith that Lord will provide everything for me, and that gave me like fearlessness. I can still sustain myself. I need just what a person needs at the end of the day is nice food and nice sleep. And if we are rendering some service to the Lord, will not Lord not provide that thing? Lord will provide that thing, and we become fearless by that thing to the extent we are ready to. Now, today, we are staying here in New York. I never had a plan to come here to US. Never in my wildest dreams I thought that I'll be here. Lord made that arrangement that, one of the senior devotees, Radhesham Prabhu, wanted someone to assist him in his travel. And somehow or the other, in ashram, I had the visa. I never thought I'll use it anytime. When I was applying for that visa, it was like my brother was forcing me. You applied for the parents, parents need to go and you can also just apply. I told I don't want that. And then I applied it, and for 8 years it was just lying there like that. I never had the desire any time to come to US. I was so happy rendering some service for the Lord in Pune. And then Lord wanted to make some arrangement that I should come here. Now I'm here actually serving here. Tomorrow if my visa expires, I'm very happy to go back to India, serve the Lord there. So service to the Lord is very important, and when we become attached to the Lord by serving Him, then all fear actually automatically develops. Actually, it's not tough. Actually, it's very easy science. If we just want to develop, fearlessness, we have to take shelter of a person who provides that. And Lord is the person who provides fearlessness in the heart of every devotee. We have seen it many times in all the cases. Lord provides fearlessness. I'll give you just an example for this thing. There was a small girl, who was like so attached to the Narsimhadev, and he was so attached. Every time she was singing this song of Narsimhadev, Narsimha Arti. How many of you have heard this Narsimha Arti? Like, Namaste Narsimhaya Praladala. So she was attached to singing this Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakam in her own words. And she was so attached to the form of Narsimhadev. And one time she was playing in front of her house, and she was trying to catch the ball or something like that, and the ball went on the road, and this girl, and before that she was just singing Tavakar Kamal, and she was just singing, and then she went to catch the ball, and immediately there was a truck which came with full speed, and it just went away. and this girl was in the middle of the road, and his parents were on this side of the house. They thought this girl is dead now, and the girl actually, the car hit, or the truck went, and the girl was on the other side of the road, just had fallen down. And what had happened was, when the parents reached to the that side where they found the girl wasn't harmed a little bit also. She did not had a small bruise on her body. Only bruises were that, they were like few scratches on her arms. And what was the scratches? Nails. Nails of Narsimadev. Narsimadev came and protected her and lifted her and kept her on the other side of the road. Can you imagine, such a fearless thing? The parents were thinking this was just this wonderful protection Lord has given. So in one way, the Lord was protecting that small girl in a very beautiful way. It's like, because she was so attached to the Lord. She was just attached to serving the Lord by singing His glories. And that girl is still there, is still alive actually. So we can understand, when we want to become fearless, when we want to invest in something, then what happens is Lord gives that fearlessness to the time we have attached to Him. And any decisions we want to make, big decisions, now what happens generally, for the making right decisions, we need to have right advice actually from the right person. You want to invest your money in some, purchasing a property or not, you need to have right people to give that right advice. If you don't have the right people around to give the right advice, then sometimes the decisions what we make are very, very difficult. It sometimes we just make it on the decisions on the mind level, and then later we regret like anything. It's like very, very regretful. So one has to be quite, that's what I'm telling, determination comes, or fearlessness comes, faith develops, all by the association of devotees. That's why association is so important, such an important factor in the life of a devotee. Now it's almost 8 o'clock. I'll just end with a small story of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, how many of you know Lord Nityananda Prabhu? Something about Lord Nityananda Prabhu? Not many. So one is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. If you have taken the darshan of the Lordships, the Govinda, there are few small deities of Lord, standing there, raising their hands, and they are there on the altar actually. Who are these personalities? This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. They are Krishna and Balram, who had incarnated 500 years ago as Gaur and Nitai. Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are the one who has propagated this movement, Hare Krishna movement, all over West Bengal. They are the pioneer actually for spreading this, the Hare Krishna chanting of this Bhakti Yoga, through the process of chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu was born in Ekachakradham. It's a village in near Mayapur. This near Radha Desh actually. This is in Radha Desh. Actually, this comes near Bengal. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu was born there, and he was born to Padmavati and Hadai Pandit. Hadai Pandit. These are his father and mother. Hadai Pandit is the father, and Padmavati is mother. And they had a child after a very long time. They almost were like not having a child. You know, they had children, but they were losing the children. They were dying. But they had this child, which was Nitai. He was so beautiful as a small boy that the entire village was so attached to seeing that boy. Every day, everyone was so happy just to take the darshan of Nitai, and he was so wonderful in his qualities that everyone loved him in the village. Everyone loved this boy. And this boy used to play with all the boys. And what was the best thing he used to do was enact the pastimes of Lord enact the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially enact Krishna Leela, Ram Leela. And he was none other than, Balram means he's none other than Lakshman. Lakshman, Balram, all these incarnations are in one category. So he was incarnation of Balram. So he knew all the pastimes of what Lord Balram had done, what all Lord Krishna has done, Rama has done. So he used to enact a lot of pastimes. And one time when he was enacting, he was playing the drama of, killing of Ravana. And during that fight, Ravana releases his Shakti weapon and he attacks towards Lakshman, right? In Ramayana, if you have read Ramayana very nicely, Ravana releases his Shakti weapon and attacks Lakshman. And as soon as Lakshman is hit by the Shakti weapon, he falls to the ground and becomes unconscious. And this happened actually. When Ravana, the boy who was playing the role of Ravana, when he attacked with what? He attacked with a flower. He took a flower and he threw it towards Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And as soon as the flower touched to him, he fell to the ground unconscious. There was not a single symptom of life, and he was dead, literally dead. And other boys, they did not knew what we are supposed to do with him. And it was like such a, everyone was in shock. What are we supposed to do? And this news spread to the entire village. And his father came running that, Nitai is not breathing at all. Nitai is, almost dead. And then, others were also like so much, in great anxiety. What will happen to him now? They're trying to wake him up and nothing was happening. And after some time, like almost like couple of hours, one boy remembered that Nitai has told me that when I fall to the ground unconscious, Hanuman should go and get what? Sanjeevani Bhuti. So that boy remembered, I am playing the role of Hanuman. Nitai has told me that I should go and get Sanjeevani Bhuti. And immediately that boy actually goes, jumps across the river, goes and grabs some booty and then brings it. And then he gives it to the 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 boy who was playing the role of a doctor. And then immediately that doctor takes that flower and then brings it near Nitai. And as soon as he smells that flower, he comes back to life. And everyone is surprised. This boy has come back to the life just by smelling that flower. And then he tells that how is this possible that you are enacting this past. Then he tells, oh, I already told this thing that this has to be done. Then all the villagers, they were asking, how is it that all these pastimes? And he was enacting the pastimes of Krishna Lila, like Krishna going to Makhan, stealing Makhan, and Krishna killing this demon, that demon, Ram killing so many demons. Everything he was enacting. And then everyone was asking, how do you know all this pastime? And he used to tell this thing very, as a small boy, he used to tell, these are all my pastimes. And no one believed that thing. Yeah, these are his pastimes only, what he is doing. And surprisingly, he actually, at the age of 12, a sannyasi, mysterious sannyasi comes and he asks Hadai Pandit that I want something in charity. And what is that something? I want this boy in charity. And Hadai Pandit, with a great heart, he gives this child, Nitai, to his father. And then he leaves from that village. And as soon as he leaves the village, Hadai Pandit not able to bear the separation from his son. If Lord is your son, what is the thing? It's like very challenging to be, express that separation. So within like 3 months, he also leaves his body. And this son, Nitai, he travels all over the holy places with his sannyasi. And at the end, he's waiting for one thing is what? He's waiting for Lord Gaurang Mahaprabhu to start his pastimes in Mayapur as a devotee. He's just waiting. So he goes all over India, going to all holy places, and then staying at Vrindavan for some time. And then as soon as Lord Gaurang Mahaprabhu starts his pastimes of Harinam Sankirtan, he goes and joins Lord Nityanand Prabhu or Nitai goes and joins Gaurang Mahaprabhu. And as soon as they join it, that's like Krishna and Balram for the first time in this incarnation, they meet each other, and they are so happy, just by meeting each other. They are like the complete pastime of both of them meeting itself is very wonderful. It's like it's like both of them are crying, just by meeting each other. They are rolling in the ground, embracing each other, and they are like dancing, and there's Harinam Sankirtan which is going on. And Lord Gaurang Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu, when they meet each other, it's like very beautiful thing. And all devotees are in ecstasy. But one beautiful pastime what Lord Nityanand Prabhu, one instruction, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives to Nityanand Prabhu, that you should go and preach to everyone. To whoever you see, you should go and do what? You should give this knowledge of Krishna consciousness to him. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, what is Karo Krishna Siksha. So this is your thing. You should go and tell it to everyone. And this was the sentence for which Lord Nityanand Prabhu has been, giving to every living entity. That he wants to make sure that every person here becomes Krishna conscious. That everyone should love Krishna. Bolo Krishna, Karo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna Shiksha. This is the sentence, what he was trying. Anyone who met actually to him, Lord Nityanand Prabhu, he was just asking that, please tell Krishna, please chant the name of Krishna. Your life will become very sublime, your life will become successful just by chanting the name of Krishna. Bhajo Krishna Siksha. Whatever you are trying to do, learn Krishna Siksha, learn the teachings of Krishna and worship Krishna. That was the only thing. If you do, your life becomes very, very successful. And this was the prayer with which Lord Balram, who could kill so many of the demons in his pastime, now he's coming and begging to each and every person, and he's begging, just by taking a grass in his lotus mouth. He's just begging each and every person that please bolo Krishna, please chant the name of Krishna, bhajo Krishna, and karo Krishna Shiksha. So if you want to please Lord Nityanand Prabhu, which is his appearance day tomorrow. Tomorrow is very auspicious day. So you please come tomorrow also. Tomorrow also in the evening there will be very beautiful Abhishek and very beautiful talk about Lord Nityanand Prabhu. And you can take part, and take part in dancing. So to please him, what we can do is we can always chant the name of Krishna. We can worship Krishna and learn about Krishna by reading about him. If you do that, Lord Nityanand Prabhu will be very, very be merciful. And when he shows mercy to any person, he can deliver he can be delivered from this world very easily. In fact, there is a pastime of Jagai and Madai which we can discuss tomorrow. It's a very beautiful pastime actually. How Lord Nityanand Prabhu delivers Jagai and Madai. It's very beautiful. They were drunkards, they were woman hunters, they were burning the houses, they were killing the people around. And these two demons, Jagai and Madai, were delivered by Nityanand Prabhu. Even in fact, they attacked Nityanand Prabhu. Jagai attacked Nityanand Prabhu, and Madai was saving Nityanand Prabhu. Madai was trying to hold, Jagai from hitting him again. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry with Jagai that he took out his Sudarshan Chakra to kill him. Just understand, if Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have taken Sudarshan Chakra and killed, whoever was offending his devotees, then everyone, would have been died. But Nityanand Prabhu stops him from committing that thing. And he tells you have to forgive him. And then immediately Lord Gaurang Mahaprabhu forgives Jagai and Madai. And they have been given great mercy. Those drunkards, those women hunters, they became great devotees of the Lord. After that, they were chanting the name of the Lord, begging, they were making ghat for the other devotees. So that was the transformation what Nityanand Prabhu has brought in his devotees. So Lord Nityanand Prabhu is very, very merciful. Without his mercy, our spiritual life practices are not, we cannot practice it for a long time. So tomorrow is a very auspicious day, and then we should always, take the blessings of Lord Nityanand Prabhu. He's like a guru. He's the representative of guru. We need guru actually. What we need is very important thing, like one person in our life, that is guru, to take the right decisions. We want to take the right decisions. We will take the telling. So we want some person to guide us, and that person is none other than the spiritual master. And if we have that person in our life, then it becomes very easy actually, very easy. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu is the representative, and tomorrow is his appearance day. So one should take all opportunity to please the Lord by chanting his holy name, by coming and taking darshan, and taking part in the kirtan.
What time is the Abhishek?
Abhishek is at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then followed by no, there is Aarti, I think 6 o'clock. 6:30 is at 6:30 is Abhishek, and then there is class at 7 o'clock, and then there is nice prasadam for all of you with dancing kirtan after that. Okay, I would like to end here. Hare Krishna. So this was whatever I spoke was like I have not prepared anything. I just walked out. I was dancing and going up, and I was told to come down. So this was not prepared. But whatever I spoke, if you like it, please take that thing. And if I had spoken something which is not proper, please forgive me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.